Hey guys, I'm Daniel. Unfortunately, this time Ruben can't be with us, but I'm here. I'm Daniel. I'm the purple little bro, and we are going to do this episode with two guys that I'm really excited to interview. They are OneBar and Lupagus. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm,
Uh,
we're, we're doing great. Excited to be here, man. Thanks for having us.
Heck yeah.
right, let's start with this. Well, the first question that I want to ask you is, how did you start to be a Viking fan? Uh,
Well, I guess go ahead, man. You go first.
I got a glitcher. What was the question?
um, how did you start to be a Vikings fan?
Well, growing up in Minnesota is a big starter for that. I actually growing up, I was more of a Twins baseball fan until about mid '90s, even late '90s. Vikings were always on, but I cared more about baseball growing up. But then when Randy Moss hit, that kind of pushed football to the forefront. I started playing football in high school, and that kind of became my number one passion. And that's really when my Viking diehard love really started. Late '90s, especially with the arrival of Randy Moss.
Yeah, I was probably the mid to late '80s. Just my dad would have it on the TV, and it just kind of caught on. Watching guys like Anthony Carter, Joey Browner, those guys just got me hooked. I was hooked instantly.
Right. It's not the first time that I hear that you become a diehard fan of the Vikings after Randy Moss came to Minnesota. And it's I don't know how to say it, but it is something amazing that a player made a lot of fans, like Randy
Yeah,
Moss.
yeah, there was really nobody like him. The way he could go up, he could be double, triple covered, and he's still going up there and he's making the catch. Getting three catches for 160 yards, three touchdowns in games. His stat lines were insane. He was just truly something special, and a real phenom of the game, and someone we should, as Vikings fans, should be happy wear our colors.
Yeah,
Yeah, he came along at the perfect time too. The Vikings were just kind of in a lull, and all of a sudden he comes along and just pushes that big old offense right over the edge. If you weren't a Viking fan living in Minnesota before he came, you sure the hell were after he came.
yeah, of course. And about it, um, what is your best memory as a Vikings fan?
I'll
Mm,
start with this one.
boy, best memory of a Vikings fan. Damn. Best memory. God, there's so many. I'm gonna go with the Randy Moss Thanksgiving game. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, 160 yards, rookie. There's so many to go off of, but that's the one where you just knew something special was going to be happening for the next 5 to 10 years. And yeah, that I'm going with that one. Brett Favre going against the Packers as a Viking is a very close second.
In week 4, the
Yeah,
Monday night.
Fantastic.
You know,
yeah, that
the
was
first time that I went to Minnesota and I watched a game in the dome was that game, that Monday night game. And I was like,
Really?
oh
yeah,
nice.
yeah, that is my favorite memory as a Viking fan.
Oh sure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. A plus.
Yeah, you say favorite memory. There's so many heartbreaking memories that I hate to
Yeah,
even
that's
think
the
about.
other question, but we can start with the good
Well,
one.
yeah, well, I mean, that's why you got to you're trying to wrap your mind around it, a good one. There's so many. You think of the Brett Favre pass to Greg Lewis at the end of the game. Obviously, the Minneapolis Miracle, more recent history. I mean, that's the extreme positives. There's been so many. We get so excited when they draft the guy that we want. I hate to admit it, but when they took Laquan Treadwell, I was pretty damn pumped. That didn't pan out. But just things like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking full blown euphoric moments, then I think it's the Minneapolis Miracle. Definitely. I mean, that was the one time the Vikings actually pulled it out against all odds. It was amazing.
Yeah, man, for sure. And your worst memory of the of a Vikings game.
Uh, I'm gonna go. I mean, it's just definitely a toss up. But I'm gonna go with the '09 championship. They had the game. It was there for the taking. Driving down the field, They had that stupid 12 men in the huddle penalty, which set them back. So then they felt like they had to throw the ball. Of course, Brett Favre makes a horrible decision, throws it to, I can't remember who picked it off. And you end up losing that game in overtime. That one just hurt. That team was so fun to watch. It was so stacked. I really thought they could have won it all that year. And yeah, I can't watch highlights of that game. I can't even think about it. It makes me so upset. It makes me so sad. It makes me so damn angry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. The other one, it's kind of a toss up between these two, I'm sure, is 98, and I'm going 98 just because when Gary Anderson missed that field, the Vikings were so damn dominant, 15-1. They made every team look silly that whole season, and they were so much better than the Falcons in that game, and they just stepped on their Peter and lost that game. They would have went to the Super Bowl. They would have smoked them. It just still pisses me off. I mean, 09 is very close.
Yep.
But 98, they were so dominant the entire season, and they just petered
Yeah,
out.
for sure. 98 is, for example, for my dad, is a season that he can't forget because he's fan since 1960s, no, or some kind of something like that. He became a fan after they lose against Kansas City in the Super Bowl IV.
Wow.
It's a
It's old
fact.
school.
Yeah, and for example, what Lupagus say, it was the first time that I cried for a game. No, I was 9 years old, and my father just told me, "Get used to it, because this is normal."
Great advice. Great advice.
It is.
And the 98, I didn't see the game because I was my mom was pregnant in that time of me. And well, you hear my dad, and he gets really angry. He gets really angry for that because Gary Anderson had the record of most goal field, good goal fields, no? So that's heartbreaking too.
Yeah, that was the worst. I still wake up in night sweats just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on like NFL Network not that long ago too, and Falcons fans were retweeting it. It was horrible.
They play it all the damn time. That and the 09 game seem to always be on that damn channel.
Yeah. And for example,
Had to get rid of it.
talking about good memories, what is your best memory in the dome and in the bank? Maybe beside the Minneapolis Miracle, because the Minneapolis Miracle is the great memory of all of us, no, in the bank. But another one you have there?
That's a good question. The dome. I mean, there's so many memories there, playing there for so long. Actually, I'm gonna pick my favorite play of all time. It's when Randy Moss, toward the end of the half, I think it was against the Broncos. Dante Culpepper just zinged it down the field. Moss catches it, and as the seconds are ticking off the clock, he happens just to realize Mo Williams is right behind him, turns and pitches it before he gets tackled. Williams takes it in for a touchdown. It's probably my all-time favorite Vikings play that happened in the dome, and it's my favorite play of all time, hands down.
Right.
Yeah, that's tough to beat. Man, that is tough to beat. I kind of got to go with the same thing. I mean, yeah, I wish I could beat that one. I can't. That's it.
Would you got one for the bank?
Bank? Man. Now you go first. Let me think.
What about
I mean, if you take Minneapolis Miracle out, then I don't know. I just think of that first season where we Packers came in, and was that the one where Wayne's got the interception late, sealing the victory? That was just one game where I did not want to lose. I think it might have been the home opener that year. If we would have lost that game to the Packers, we never would have heard the end of it. And I don't know if you realize this, but we live right on a Wisconsin-Minnesota border. So we got a lot of mixed fans here where we live, and the Packers fans are nuts. And if they get anything to talk to you about, if they would have won the first game in US Bank, that would have been horrifying. We never would have heard the end of it.
Yeah, I haven't gone to the bank, but I really want to, you know. I really want to. It's my my wish, my greatest wish. But what about you, Matt?
Yeah, the best.
You talk a lot about it.
There's been a lot of fantastic stuff that's happened there, but it's pretty much probably the first time that I actually went there for a game. Just walking in there and seeing how kick-ass that stadium is. You walk in, you can't tell if you're inside or outside. They got beer all over the place. It's the best stadium. There's not a better stadium in the NFL, and it's just a wow moment when you walk in there. Those big screens, it's crazy.
Yeah, even that Las Vegas and LA have new stadiums. I think that the Bank is the most beautiful stadium in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And to on the other point of that, for the Metrodome, a fantastic memory is those huge troughs that used to have that you used to take piss in, where everybody had to share the same one. So I miss those greatly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for example, a quick question: do you think that the Dome was louder than the Bank?
Oh yeah, the Dome was ridiculous. That place would be shaking. It actually felt like it was going to fall apart when you were in there.
All right.
Yeah, it probably was falling apart. Actually,
probably was, but at the Bank they got that big old horn. When that thing starts going, it's fantastic as well.
Yeah.
All right. If the Vikings ever play in Mexico, would you come here in Mexico City to see them play?
Wow, that sounds like a hangover. That sounds like a real bad hangover down there. That'd be fun though. That would be fun.
If that happens, I will make sure that the hangover can be real.
Hey, we'll come to that game if you let us sleep on your living room floor. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, my house is your house. You can come here and do whatever you want.
There we go.
Heck yeah.
We're in, man. We're in.
Did you go to the Mexico games down there?
Yeah,
the Cardinals and the,
I've gone. I didn't go to the Texans to the Texans game. I won the last year against the Kansas City game against the LA Chargers.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah,
that was
was
that the crazy? Was it the Chargers? It was the Chargers, not the Rams one. It was the Chargers.
No, the Rams was canceled, and it was in LA. The Chargers came the last year with Kansas City in Monday night.
Oh, okay. So is there a team that Mexico kind of backs as a whole or not?
Most of the people here are Cowboys fans, just because we had Mexico had 3 players in Dallas: Efren Herrera and Rafa Septien were kickers.
Okay.
And well, the fan base of Cowboys was big for that reason here in Mexico. And then the Giants with Raúl Alegre, a kicker too. We usually made O-line and kickers. No,
yeah.
And here in Mexico, the fan base of Vikings it's big, but not as big as another teams like Steelers or Cowboys or that kind of thing.
Okay.
What's your take on Michael Pierce situation? That's well, we finished with questions of about your memories as fans and things like that. We wanted to talk to you about the recent events that happened in Minnesota because, well, I'm impressed with you. You know, yesterday came the news of no, it wasn't yesterday. When Justin Jefferson, it was yesterday when Michael Pierce situation, and I saw the video like 10 minutes after the news was there. So we wanted to talk to you about the recent events, the latest news, and take an opinion about that. And the first thing about it is, what's your take on Michael Pierce situation?
Boy, Michael Pierce, he's got a valid reason. You can't fault him for what he did. Asthma, he's a big guy. So it definitely blows as a Vikings fan. That was our free agent big acquisition this year. Everyone was very excited to see what he could bring to the defense. We need that big guy in the middle. And but on his side of things, it makes total sense. Fans, I'm sure, agree with that. You can't get upset with that. We're seeing people opt out daily, and especially the big guys, offensive line, defensive line. So I think it's definitely going to hurt the Vikings defensive line. It's going to hurt our defense overall. But when you look at the big picture things, you just gotta kind of go with the flow. You can't be upset about it.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, are they going to try to fix this internally? Are they going to look to someone else? There actually is quite a few decent nose tackles out there in free agency. The Matopeko he played with, Mike Zimmer in Cincinnati, he's out there. Snacks Harrison, he's out there. Mike Daniels is out there. I mean, there's guys you can go out and get. But I wonder if, you look at Shamar Stephen, they kind of had him at the 3 technique last year. He's better off playing as a run stuffer. If he's primarily the run stuffer, maybe he'll be better and look more like he did earlier in his career. And there's also Armand Watts, who I know he's kind of more of a hybrid, but he did get some snaps at nose last year, and he looked pretty damn good. He didn't really get to play until halfway through the season, but that guy's got some spunk to him. He can make some plays. So I think they might be able to patch it with what they have right now, but it definitely sucks losing a guy like Michael Pierce. Especially look at how bad, the run defense was last year, 13th in the league. I don't know how it can be any better this year. It's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
Well,
I really wanted to see him. I really wanted to see him because the last year I saw him and he was really good. And well, I was really scared after Levan Joseph went to LA because I said, oh my God, who's going to replace him? But then came Michael Pierce and I said, all right, we are fine. But now that he's not here, we have many options. The first one that makes sense is Jalil Johnson, James Lynch, and if we stand in a romantic position, we can think that Everson Griffin can back here to Minnesota and can be a nose tackle. What do you think about it?
Well, hey, Everson Griffin coming back in purple sounds good. It's going to sound good to everybody. He's going to end up playing for somebody week 1, no doubt about it. Whether it's the Vikings or not, we'll see. I think Lupagus is much more optimistic about our current situation. I think our defensive tackles went to pure crap when Pierce went away. Yes, I'm excited about Watts. Jaleel Johnson's never really lived up to his 4th-round billing, and James Lynch is exciting, but there's some free agents out there that yeah, but he's an energetic guy. He's a guy that can get to the quarterback. We'll see. But if the Vikings are going to sign a free agent, they need to do it like now, because we saw Eddie Goldman opt out. The dude on the Lions, I don't remember his name, just opted out today. And there's going to be plenty more defensive tackles opting out. So they need to, if they're going to go with free agent, they need to grab somebody now.
I'm not saying I'm optimistic. I'm just saying those are the options I think they would use. It's going to be bad either way. But maybe they want to see what they got first before they go and spend some money. But they did get like $3 million in cap space because Pierce is only gets so much now that he opted out. So that does help. There is some money there.
All right. So if you were Mike Zimmer, who would you put there in the nose tackle position?
I think I already tipped my hand. I think I'll go Armand Watts. I make him earn it. Shamar Stephen would be a close second. I didn't think he was going to make the team this year. He was so bad last year. I would have gave him the axe if Michael Pierce would have been around. Now I think you do need him. So I think it's one of those two guys, unless it's somebody from outside the organization.
Yeah, I think Shamar. I'm going to go with Shamar Stephen gets it at least off the bat, and then they just do a rotation. I think they're going to be swapping a lot of guys in and out between those 4 top guys, and just see who stands out, because really right now they don't know what they got. I mean, even Jaleel Johnson hasn't got a ton of playing time in the past, so it's kind of a mystery.
The one thing about Jaleel, though, he's playing in a contract year, so he's gonna be extra motivated. So he was last year was his best season so far. Maybe he even does a little better this year.
I hope so. Really hope so.
Yeah, I really hope
I think we all hope so.
All right, I'm gonna give you a list. Blake Brandel, Brian Cole II, Tyler Higbee, Justin Jefferson, Ifeadi Odenigbo, and Cameron Smith. Those were tested as a positive COVID-19. So we are not going to have those players. The situation that I really get really scared is that yesterday Ifeadi and Cameron Smith was with the veterans. Do you think that situation of those players, Justin Jefferson, Ifeadi, and I forgot the name, and Cameron Smith are going to affect the rest of the team or the training as we expected to be?
Yeah, the thing you got to remember about that list doesn't mean they necessarily tested positive. It just means they've been around somebody who has. So there's different rules with that. I think they have to get tested, and if their test comes back negative, I think they can come back within 24 hours. If it's positive, I know it's at least 5 days they got to sit out. And to me, the biggest concern is like with Justin Jefferson being a rookie with no mini camps, no OTAs. He's expected to be a big part of this offense this year. And if he's going to miss practice too, that's just going to set him so far behind to the point where you wonder if he can even make an impact this year.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Jefferson, some of the guys that have been around, or if they got it, it is what it is. They're at least going to make the teams. But when you're like a Cameron Smith or somebody fighting for a roster spot, this is not good news. He needs to make sure that comes back negative so he can get on the field, prove his spot. But Justin Jefferson, he's our golden boy this year. He's our first round wide receiver. He needs to get his butt back on the field. So hopefully that all works out. But he's the one I'm most concerned about.
Yeah, I was concerned about that. I really concerned about that because, well, he's a rookie. He needs to be more time, receive catches of Kirk Cousins and things like that. And he's going to lose time, valuable time that we need, no? Well, we saw Adam Thielen yesterday with Kirk Cousins making some catches, and that makes me feel more comfortable, but I don't think that Adam Thielen needs to practice with Kirk Cousins as Justin Jefferson needs to practice.
Yeah, he needs to get his butt out there. He needs to be catching some balls. First year wide receivers, they tend to have the worst luck as far as transitioning in the NFL. So the more time he can get out there, the better.
And it's not just working with Cousins. You need Jefferson to work with Thielen. Watch what he does. Thielen's a guy who always puts in extra work, whether it's working on his routes, working on his footwork, catching the football. Jefferson needs to just stick with him, learn his work ethic. And, you know, for him not to be there, it's the worst thing that could happen. But it shows you, too, this whole COVID situation, how quickly things can just fall apart. It's like a house of cards. You flick one and everything can just crumble. So you hope this isn't a widespread thing in the organization. You don't want to see another Miami Marlins situation with the Vikings. But seems like, is it me or the Vikings getting more people on this list than anybody else right now?
Yeah, of course. Thinking or taking in consideration that the whole COVID problem and the players' posture can increase, do you think that the season must be canceled?
I think they're going to do everything they can to play it. And it might end up looking like some really bad football if you have, stars who have to sit out or who get infected. You could have a lot of backup quarterbacks playing. You could have a lot of backup receivers. It could almost look like a strike season where you have replacement players in there. But I think the NFL is going to try their damnedest to go ahead and do this thing. I feel like if they would have canceled the season, they would have done it already, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think something crazy is going to have to happen for that to go down. I mean, I don't know what show I was watching the other day, but they just laid it out. I mean, they talked about pushing the draft back. They didn't do that. They talked about pushing training camp back. They didn't do that. Season's ready to go week 1, and there's no preseason, but I think something would have to drastically happen for them to close it down. They're too far into it. And like Lupagus said, there's going to be some players that are going to be out for a while, and it might get a little crazy. Hopefully that doesn't include Kirk Cousins, because if Sean Mannion gets out there, it's going to be it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, of
It is.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Besides Justin Jefferson, which rookie are you most excited to see in the team?
Ooh. Go ahead. You're shaking your hands, OneBar. Go ahead.
Boy, I like some of these late rounders. I like some of these late rounders a lot. But I'm going to go with, I'm going Kenny Willekes, man. I've been talking about this guy way too long. He's a 7th rounder, but he seems like he might be borderline insane. I love the fact that he's just gritty. He wants to get his hands on the quarterback, put his ass into the ground. And with our defensive ends right now, there's a lot of room to make this team. So I am really banking on Kenny Willekes.
Yeah, you took my answer, but I'm gonna go with Ezra Cleveland instead. Vikings offensive line. It's been an issue for many years, and you took this guy in the 2nd round. Whether he ends up moving inside to play guard or plays tackle, I want to see what he has, what he can do. He seems like an ideal fit for Gary Kubiak's blocking scheme, so I have high hopes for this guy. And if he can solidify that left tackle spot for the next decade, the Vikings are going to be in real good shape.
In that case, for example, if you put Ezra Cleveland as a starter player, how do you use the O-line? Which players would you take for your O-line?
I think a dream scenario would be, if he could start left tackle. But I think I would keep Riley Reif at left tackle. It sounds like they're going to try Ezra Cleveland at guard. If they do, he can be the left guard. Obviously, Bradbury at center. Right guard, I'm fine with going with Samia. I think there's a reason they took him in the 4th round a season ago.
Yeah,
and then you got obviously Brian O'Neill on your right side, who's really one of the best in the NFL. So I think that's one of the best case scenarios you can get. A couple guys to watch too. I like Oli Udoh this year. I think he could take a major leap forward. He's a possibility to play guard. And I know Pat Elflein's hanging around there, but I want nothing to do with Pat Elflein this year. I've seen enough.
Yeah, I've seen enough too.
I'm pretty close to that, but I'm actually gonna switch. I'm gonna put Riley Reif at guard and Ezra Cleveland at tackle. I'm gonna leave Ezra Cleveland where he's gonna be, where he has played. Let's make the veteran move inside where you probably have a better transition, and then just boot Pat Elflein to the street.
All right.
Would he start on the street?
No, I don't know what he's doing out there. I don't care. He's not in the stadium. That's all that matters.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. The O-line problems have been a headache for this team, so it needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that with Ezra Cleveland, we are going to have more stability in the left side of the O-line, and Kirk Cousins won't be sacked.
As often.
That'd be all right.
As often. Yeah. My dad gets angry every time he gets sacked, and he thinks that is Kirk Cousins' guilt.
Well, year one, he kind of was. He held on the ball out too long. But last year, I thought Cousins got it out plenty. I blame the O-line last year. Year one, I do put some of those sacks on Kirk Cousins and his huge ass.
Yeah, that is a ginormous putt. And like Lupagus said, Oli Udoh, he's a guy to watch, man. He could be sneaky this year in the preseason. He might find himself in that lineup.
He's on the COVID list too right now, though, so that ain't great.
We're all on it.
All right.
True.
All right. I'm going to give you some numbers. We're going to start with 83, Eric Kendricks, 64, Harrison Smith, 58, Kirk Cousins, 40, Daniel Hunter, and 21, Dalvin Cook. Those were the numbers of the top 100 of this year. Are you agree? Are you disagree? What do you think about it? Because I see Harrison Smith in a low spot to me. Yeah. And Kirk Cousins, see him beside Jimmy Garoppolo was like, oh man, that's not cool.
Gross. Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the NFL 100 list. I think it's just a bunch of shit. It's just for something to talk about in a dead time of the year. The one that you mentioned, Jimmy Garoppolo ahead of Kirk Cousins. I didn't mind where Kirk Cousins was on the list. The fact that Jimmy Garoppolo was ahead of him, I thought was insane. Delvin Cook, 21, okay. But Daniel Hunter, to me, is a top 15 player in the NFL, coming up back-to-back 14 and a half sacks. To have this guy at 40, to me, it makes no sense. He's one of the more underrated players in the entire league. How good he is, not just against not just rushing the passer, but also stopping the run. He's a complete player, and to have him at 40, I thought was way too low.
Yeah, Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, they got ripped off. They get ripped off every year in this damn thing. They should have been way higher, especially Kendricks. Daniil Hunter at 40 is just insane. I actually thought Dalvin Cook, what was he, 21?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 21.
I thought that was actually kind of a gift. I was surprised they had him rated so high. I mean, I figured he'd be top 50, maybe top 40, but just the fact that they didn't give those other Vikings the love that they deserved, I was actually fairly surprised they put Dalvin Cook at 21. So that was actually nice to see.
We also got to mention the guys who got completely snubbed. Adam Thielen, Anthony Harris. I mean, you're talking best 100 in the league. Those two have to be on the list.
Well,
to leave them off was
Adam
crazy.
Thielen was in injury, like 5 or 6 games of the season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I understand that's why Adam Thielen was on the list. But all right, let's go with Eric Kendricks. He's 83. He's Pro Bowl and All Pro. What the fuck with that? Why? He's 83 and he's All Pro and Pro Bowl.
He's like the best middle linebacker in the NFC, possibly the NFL, and they put him at 83.
Yeah,
that's why ratings like that make you not even want to watch it next year because they're just bullshit. So it's insane. He should have been legit top 50, anywhere in the top 50, and even that, it's crazy. And Pat Elflein, he did not make the top 100. And he should not have because he's horrible. I just want to be clear about that. He's very bad. It could have been the top 1,000, and Pat Elflein wouldn't have been in there.
Wouldn't have been at all. No way.
For example, Harrison Smith, he was higher than the last year. But if you see the numbers of Harrison Smith, he's got better numbers than Troy Polamalu had in the same year of he was playing. What about that? No. Why Harrison Smith is in 64? Do you agree or do you disagree?
They had him at 64.
Yeah. When I think in 64, I think in a Beatles song, not in a place for Harrison Smith.
That's way too low. I mean, I know he's getting up there in years. But he's still an amazing player. What he does for the Vikings defense, able to swat down passes, come up, can play on the line. I would have had him probably top 30 somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the hitman, when he's done, his ass is going to be up in that ring of honor. He's one of the best defenders the Vikings have ever had. I think he was one better than last year. I think that's where they had him. Wasn't he like 65 last year and they moved him out one spot? So he did improve his crappy rating from last year, so I'll give him that. But he has never gotten the love he should have. I don't know what it is. I mean, safeties overall don't get the love that they probably should. I mean, the fact that Harris wasn't even on the damn thing just blows that list of crap. But, he should have been around 50, I think.
Yeah, I think 50 was really accurate for Harrison Smith too. But let's talk about someone who is in the 50 spot. Kirk Cousins. Do you think that Kirk Cousins deserves to be in 58 or not?
Yeah, I didn't mind where he was. 58 over the entire NFL. That's fine. But what pissed me off was Jimmy Garoppolo being ahead of him. You're looking at strictly the numbers, strictly as who they are as quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins is years ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo. That I can only assume that was because they made it to the Super Bowl. That's because of the defense, not because of Jimmy Garoppolo. So
yeah, I think that too.
But Cousins being at 58, I thought that was fine, really.
Yeah, I think that was actually pretty damn good for Cousins. 58 overall, we'll take that. But yeah, the Garoppolo thing is just dumb. There's no other way to say it. There's no reason he should be there. He should be right in front of Pat Elflein on the list.
999.
There we go.
All right, we're talking about Kirk Cousins. Let's talk good about Kirk Cousins. Well, if you want to talk about him bad, it's okay, but I really want to talk about him in a good way. All right, if you have to choose between Sam Bradford, healthy Sam Bradford, Casey Keenum, and Kirk Cousins, who would you take? And why?
Wait, does a healthy Sam Bradford actually exist? It's like the Sasquatch.
You're damn right he exists.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a good question.
You want to start? Or you want me to start?
Well, I'm taking Keenum out of the picture here. Keenum, fantastic season, no doubt about it. But the dude was just up and down, up and down, up and down. So it comes down to Bradford and Kirk Cousins. And a healthy Sam Bradford showed some fantastic flashes. There was a reason he was the number 1 overall pick. There was a reason the Vikings gave up all those draft picks because of the potential if he was healthy. So, that's tough. Shit. I'm going Sam Bradford. Bradford's accuracy was just off the charts. He was not the most mobile guy either. Was Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins for this team. But Sam Bradford, 100% healthy. I'm going with him.
Well, here's the problem, and I'm going Kirk Cousins because 100% healthy Sam Bradford is going to eventually get hurt. Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt. The guy, he takes these huge hits. He just gets right back up. I don't know if it's that giant ass of his that absorbs the blow or what. But I also like just the way Kirk Cousins has grown up. That first year he came in, held on the ball too long. If the Vikings were down by 10 points late in the game, there was no chance they were coming back. But last year he kind of changed all that. Smarter with the football, was quick to get it out, throw it out of bounds if nothing was there. And he led the team back. He kind of showed some grit. He showed some fire. Look at that Denver game. He led the charge back in that one. He kept them alive in the game at Seattle last year. So I think he really took a step forward as a leader. I never really saw that from Sam Bradford, even when he was healthy. I mean, yeah, Sam Bradford throws a beautiful ball, can put it anywhere. But I think Cousins just showed more as an overall leader than Bradford ever did. And that's why I'm going with Cousins.
Right. Maybe I take, it's a tough decision because I love Kirk Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins. He's got a lot of critics, and that's something that I don't like it. But for example, with Sam Bradford, it was the first time that I get really excited for a quarterback in Minnesota. When I saw Brett Favre, all right, one day I was normal and my father told me Brett Favre is in the team, and I was like, Brett Favre? All right. Christian Ponder, I hate him since they pick him.
I can tell. I do hate him.
Teddy Bridgewater happened to me the same thing. When Teddy Bridgewater came to Minnesota, I was like, all right, let's see him. But then I saw him and I was like, no, I don't like you. And then came Sam Bradford, and I said, like, that's my guy. That's my guy. And with Kirk Cousins, didn't happen that. But I'm taking Lupagus pick because Sam Bradford wasn't healthy. And Kirk Cousins, something that he's really got is that he's always healthy. And sometimes I get desperate for Kirk Cousins because I said, like, no man, it's impossible that you do this kind of stuff. For example, the game against Green Bay or Chicago in Soldier Field last year, he was horrible. But if you see him in play in games like Cowboys last year or Seattle last year, even that we lose, I said, like, that's my quarterback. I love my quarterback. But what do you think about Kirk Cousins in Minnesota now with this team? If he can take the position of leader that Brett Favre had in his time, or Randall Cunningham had in his time, do you think that he's the quarterback that we need with that? I don't know, leadership. maybe that's the word that I was looking for.
Hmm. Yeah, I think he's absolutely. I mean, I think you saw a flash of that last year. I think he's going to take another step with that this year. Diggs is gone. Everson Griffin's gone. Vikings are looking for some new leaders, and I think Cousins will step up and be that guy. I think it's third year now. This is his team. This is his offense, and he already showed the signs of that last year. I think he's just going to take it one step further in 2020.
But for example, there are two veterans too here in the team. It's Kyle Rudolph and Adam Thielen. Kyle Rudolph is already captain. No, what do you think? Is gonna wait more Kirk Cousins than Kyle Rudolph, or Kyle Rudolph is going to have a leadership that maybe Everson Griffin had last year?
One more. You want to do that one?
Yeah, I think a couple guys are gonna have to step up. Everson Griffin leaves a big old hole. I think I'm actually looking at a guy you didn't mention, Eric Kendricks, maybe stepping up in that leadership role on the defensive side of the ball, along with Harrison Smith. But Kirk Cousins, Lupagus nailed it. This is his third year. This is his offense. This is his team. He needs to pull out those big old balls and show this team that he is ready to take them deep into the playoffs. I think Kirk Cousins does have those big old balls, and I think he will do it. I love the way that he just kind of wings that thing around. So I'm very excited to see what he has in year 3.
Well, he showed his balls in the playoffs when he took that shot to win the game. I mean, that was a ballsy throw, and he had no problem laying it in there. So it's those kind of shots that show this guy he's got ice in his veins.
All right. Let's go to the 40 position, Daniel Hunter. What do you think about Daniel Hunter? Do you think he's going to improve in the D line?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the loss of Everson Griffin, the loss of Michael Pierce is going to hurt. No doubt. Everybody is going to be focusing on Hunter. I mean, who else do they have to focus on until they prove him wrong? Odenigbo, yes, he showed some glimpses last year. But other than that, I mean, we got some question marks in the middle. So offensive lines are going to be able to double, triple that guy and really make these other guys earn it. So these other guys really, really need to step up to take the focus off of Hunter. And that's what I'm very, very worried about. What Hunter had last year?
Do you think it's going to happen the thing that happened to Jared Allen?
It's only natural. I mean, this guy is a beast. He wreaks havoc on the offensive line every game he plays. So they're gonna continue to give him focus. Like I said, I think it comes down to the other guys. It's up to them to help take the focus off of him. If they can't prove themselves, I think Hunter is going to have a tough year. I mean, Everson Griffin gone was one thing, but to take Michael Pierce out of that as well, that's Hunter's going to he's going to really have to prove his worth this year, no doubt.
He's going to probably have the most difficult year of his career so far. But the difference between him and Jared Allen was getting older when he was losing help. Hunter's still like 25 years old. He's still very young. Tons of football ahead of him. He's really just coming into his prime now. If anybody can handle double, triple teams on a weekly basis, it's Daniel Hunter. Have you seen this guy? His freaking muscles have muscles. Yeah, if anybody can do it, it's him. But he's going to definitely find it a lot harder this year to get to the quarterback than he did a year ago.
Right, and let's think in case that Everson Griffin doesn't come back to Minnesota. What do you think about this couple of defensive ends, Ifeatu Odenigbo and Daniel Hunter?
Yeah, well, we already know what we had with Hunter. Odenigbo, even what we saw last year, you got to love it. I think, was it seven or 8 sacks he had? But what's most impressive about him is the fire and the intensity he plays with. I mean, this guy he loves playing football. You can definitely see it. He gets pumped up. He's on the sidelines getting all fired up, getting the fans into it. And I think it's that passion, that fire that's going to make him, take the next step and be a 10-sack kind of guy, be it the next starter across from Daniel Hunter, be there for the next 5-6 years, however long we can afford him.
Yeah, Odenigbo comes from, what was he, 7th round pick, right?
Yep.
7th rounder. These late round guys come in, they hungry, they want to prove that they should have been a better pick. Odenigbo has done that. He's bounced around the league. He went to the Browns, Cardinals, back to the Vikings. So he is a guy that wants to make a big old fat contract. I think he had 7 of those sacks in the last like 8 games or something. He just exploded the last second half of the season last year. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to the table. Very excited.
All right, and let's talk with the final number that is 21, and it's with Dalvin Cook. I don't think that you need to tell me that Dalvin Cook is a good player, because we all know that Dalvin Cook is a good player. But we had that novel of him with the contract thing. Do you think that Dalvin Cook must be extended?
Well, must. That's the key word there. Must he be? Probably not. You look at what the Vikings have on the roster. You know, Alexander Madison, Mike Boone. Those are 2 very good backs. In Gary Kubiak's system, he is very running back friendly. I don't know if you remember, but he did make Reuben Drones have like 1,000-yard season, and everybody now is thinking, who the hell is Reuben Drones? Or, oh, I remember Reuben Drones. He can make an average back look great. So I think the Vikings would be okay without Cook, but they would lose a huge explosive element to their offense. What Cook can do in the passing game, and then just the way he can bust off a long run out of nowhere. He brought us back in that Green Bay game when he busted off for was it a 70-yard run or whatever it was. That's what you're losing if you do let him go. Personally, I want him back, but is it a must? I'm not going to say it's a must.
Yeah, I think that I'm 50-50 on this one. Whether he comes back or whether he doesn't, there's a case for each side of things. You look at the Super Bowl champions of the last however many years, they don't have that number 1 amazing top 5 running back in the NFL. I mean, you even look at McCaffrey with the Panthers. They signed him the big bucks. They haven't done anything. So as long as it's at the right price and they don't kill themselves for what they sign him for, I'm all for bringing him back. I realize what he brings to this offense, but I always go back to just looking at the other top teams in the NFL. I mean, look at Zeke Elliott, look at some of the other top running backs. Their teams aren't making that late push, and that's what it comes down to. It's not how exciting your offense is; it's how far you make it in the playoffs.
And usually Cook's hurt by playoff time.
Yeah.
Hurt or worn out.
Let's think about this. Minnesota have had some good running backs. A few examples: Chuck Furman, Robert Smith, Adrian Peterson. Do you think that Dalvin Cook can be in that group?
I'll take this one, or I'll go first. I think Dalvin Cook is well on his way to getting in that group. He's still how many years has he been in the league? What are we at? 3?
I think this is his 3rd.
This is his 4th, no?
This is 4th. Yeah, this is his 4th.
So last year was pretty much his coming out party. Ripped shit up. Was one of the top running backs before he worn out. But if he can continue to play at the level he's playing at, I think he will absolutely be in the consideration of one of the best running backs to wear purple, no doubt.
Yeah, the only thing that would hold him back is his health, is his knack for getting injured and missing time. Whether it's his shoulder, his ACL, whatever, this guy, he gets hurt, and that's his MO so far in his career. He's never completed a full season. That's the only thing that can stop him from being, when it's all said and done, considered one of the best backs the Vikings have ever had.
Right. And for example, that's a question that I want to make, a quick question. If Adrian Peterson had the opportunity to finish his career in Minnesota dressed as purple, could you take it instead Dalvin Cook? Or playing together?
I would take it with Dalvin Cook. I wouldn't take it instead of Dalvin Cook. I loved Adrian Peterson when he was here. He was like the Randy Moss of running back. Some of those runs he made, absolutely phenomenal. It was just extremely exciting every time he touched the football. You didn't know what was going to happen. I would love to see him finish his career with the Vikings. And who knows, the way he's going, he could play till he's 42. It might be 8 years down the road, but he's truly a special player, and I'd love to see him. I'm sure he's going to retire, like a one-day thing with the Vikings, but I would love to see him suit up again.
Yeah, having him coming back in purple makes me want to just take all my clothes off and slam a couple beers. That he needs to come full circle. Whether they do that or not is one thing, but I mean, he's earned it. To come back in purple for a final year, even if he's the second or third option at a very cheap price, it might be a little bit of a pipe dream, but the thought of it sounds fantastic.
Oh yeah, I would also join you. I would be shirtless and drinking too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's make some quick questions. Do you think Jared Allen is going to be Hall of Famer this year?
I didn't catch, who was that?
Didn't you hear me?
Jared Allen.
Oh, first ballot. I'm gonna say no.
No, why?
That's rude.
I don't know. I haven't looked who else is in the class even. So I don't know. First ballot Hall of Famer, man, that's tough.
Hey, I'll answer this. You're damn right he's going to the first ballot. He's got 100. What's he got? Like 125, 140, somewhere around there sacks. That's insane. First ballot, give him the jacket, done deal. I'm gonna go.
I was very unprepared for the question.
I'm just gonna kiss his little statue if I ever go to the Hall of Fame.
It's gonna have one. It's gonna be the only one with the mullet.
Hell yeah, I will.
Yeah, if he's a Hall of Famer this year, I'm gonna make a mullet. I have a lot of hair to do that.
Nice.
Yeah, hell yeah. Dye that red.
Get a stash too.
Yeah, Jared Allen is my favorite player of all time. I'm from
nice.
Tarkenton. I'm from Tarkenton too. Even I have my jersey now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell of a jersey you got there.
All right. We know that the Vikings are going to make the Super Bowl. I don't know when, but they are going to make it. All right. Against which team would you like to see them play?
Well, for me, I don't know why, but my second favorite team has always been the Browns. It's because maybe they're just so bland and their uniforms are so gross. And plus the Browns always kind of choke too. So maybe we got the Super Bowl, we face the Browns, they would completely choke and we would come out on top.
Man, but they are the Browns.
Off, you think the Browns? You think the Browns are going to make the Super Bowl?
Hey, it could be any time down the road. You never know.
I'm sure that Jim Brown didn't think that the Browns were going to make the Super Bowl.
Exactly. I wasn't talking like this season or next. I'm thinking 2 years down the road.
And you, Matt, what do you think?
I don't know. Whoever it is, we're going to beat. I'm going to go with somebody that beat us in the Super Bowl prior. I'll go with the Steelers. A little bit of payback about years later.
You could pick a lot of teams that would be revenge.
Right.
More than anything.
I'm taking the Bills.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there you go. So somebody will win the Super Bowl finally.
Be careful what you say with the Bills. Their fans are very, very angry people.
Yeah. And I'm sure that the Vikings are going to win, and that will make us more angry.
There you go.
The only bad part about that is if we actually make the Super Bowl and lose to the Bills, then we're the first 5-time loser. I mean, that's you got to be careful there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's dirty waters.
Dirty waters, and those Bills fans are nuts. They're crazy.
They are. There's something. Be careful what you say.
And I'm pretty sure if that happens, Bills against Vikings is going to be the most watched Super Bowl in history. I'm pretty sure.
So?
Yeah. Yeah.
Vikings got fans all over.
People are bad people. They want to see someone to die.
Yeah, it would be. They'd be finally getting to see one of the teams finally get their first Super Bowl. It would be fantastic, and I'd be bombed.
Yeah, I would too. Only way I could handle it.
All right.
Has to be wasted.
We are in the end of this episode. So, what do you think about this upcoming season? What are your thoughts about what we are going to make, and how are we going to finish, in which spot in the division against Chicago, Green Bay? I heard Green Bay, I heard Chicago, Detroit, that is in Well, there's always in restructure, but this time in a good restructure.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a very unique season with this whole COVID situation. Rosters could be in flux all year long. And I'm also very concerned about our guard position and our young cornerbacks. But I do think you got Mike Zimmer there. We got plenty of veteran leadership, plenty of weapons on both sides of the ball. I do think we reclaim the North this year and make a deep playoff run. Boom.
Right. I love
Yeah,
it.
I think I'm not just drinking the purple Kool-Aid, but if as long as nothing crazy doesn't happen related to COVID or whatever, we lose Kirk Cousins, we lose some stallion for a large amount of time. I think we are the best team in the NFC North. Yes, we have some questions on the offensive line and the secondary, but when you look at the other teams in this division, I'm actually probably more scared of the Lions than I am the Packers, and the Bears they just suck. So I'm not worried about them. What's that?
Not against us.
Well, yeah, but old Trubes is going to be running that team. I think as long as something crazy doesn't happen to the Vikings, I think it's our division to lose. And I think year in and year out with this group of guys, we're going to make a push in the playoffs. And it's just a matter of if we show up in the playoffs or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In which seat would you put the Vikings in the playoffs?
I'm going to give them the 2 seed.
Dusky? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they win the North, they'll be 2. And I'm not afraid of the East. So yeah, I think 2 is valid.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure of the 2.
The one team that would worry me again is the 49ers. That defense is horrifying.
Yeah, the whole West, that whole West division is horrifying. And I think the Cardinals are actually going to be mildly decent this year.
Yep.
Cardinals, Seahawks, Niners, Rams. They're stacked. They are absolutely stacked.
But every year's different. Teams merge that no one sees coming, so you never know. Maybe the Lions will be amazing this year.
I'm not pretty sure. I think that they are going to be good, better than Chicago and Green Bay, but I'm not sure than the Vikings.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're gonna. Detroit always sucks. They're gonna suck. I'm gonna say it right now.
All right, and the final question: any words to the Vikings Mexican fan base?
OneBar, you wanna go first?
Any words to the Mexican Viking fan base? Well, I'll say you picked the right team. I mean, regardless of where I lived, I'd be rooting for the Vikings. There's no doubt about it. Anytime anybody is up in Minnesota, feel free to crash on Lupagus's couch. He's got a big house. Saddle up. He's got plenty of beer in the fridge. And we'll just, check out the OneBar Lupagus Show. We're rooting for you guys. You root for us.
Yeah, right. I would just tell them thank you for supporting the Vikings, the best team in the NFL. You got to love them through thick and thin because there's definitely going to be some heartbreaking times, but it makes the good times all the more sweeter. And always make sure to keep that skull in your hole.
Right, that's amazing. I'm taking the Lupagus thing if I go to Minnesota in the if COVID allows it.
No? There you go.
Hell yeah, I'll be right next to you.
All right.
Maybe the next year. Well, we have finished this episode of Los Purple Eaters Bros. It's been a pleasure of having you. Go to see them. They are really amazing. I'm a really huge fan of Bad and Good Ref. I'm a really good, huge fan. Go to watch them. We are having more of these episodes of Viking stories. And thank you for watching us. Goodbye.